This is the Khmer Times News. My name is Paolo Bonini, and these are your headlines. Monkeypox is back and has struck at the heart of the capital. A bumper crime desk this week littered with stabbings, bribery and corruption. And it ain't just monkeypox striking fear, as bird flu is also on the rise. But first, to our headline story. The Ministry of Health has stated that a 28-year-old man living in Phnom Penh has now tested positive for monkeypox. He is just one of many across the globe, as monkeypox in just the past 2 years has now appeared in well over 100 countries and is causing growing concerns with its relentless march across the globe. The Ministry of Health has stated that the victim began to show symptoms 2 weeks ago and has now tested positive. The man had developed genital warts, which spread to his neck, cheek and legs. He sought medical advice at the hospital and was then sent for testing. After receiving a positive result for monkeypox, the patient was placed in isolation. The emergency response teams of the Ministry of Health at a national level and a local level have been activated to help contain the outbreak, to prevent transmission to others. So far, globally, there has been 68,000 cases registered, and that number is on the rise. The first human cases were diagnosed nearly 50 years ago in 1970 in the Democratic Republic of Congo. Since then, the frequency and severity of outbreaks has significantly increased, possibly as a result of waning immunity since the ending of the smallpox vaccinations. The situation has got worse with the outbreaks in 2022 and 2023, representing the first incidents of widespread community transmission outside of Africa. And now cases have been confirmed in 111 countries, and the World Health Organization has declared the outbreak a public health emergency. But if there is a silver lining, it is the fact at current monkeypox is not that deadly, with a low mortality rate. But many scientists are concerned that that could all change as the disease spreads, finding more and more hosts. This week on our extra long crime desk, we have murder most foul, major corruption is uncovered, brutal stabbings shock many, and at long last, a hit-and-run driver gets caught and he will be prosecuted. Now, when it comes to murder, I thought I had heard them all, but this one is different. And as I tell this story, see if you can spot the huge mistake the killer made that tipped the police that this supposed suicide was, in fact, a cold-blooded murder. A young woman was found hanging in her locked home. The woman was just 19 years old and was found dead in her bedroom. But suspicions were soon raised and the finger pointed very squarely at her husband. He was then arrested and has now confessed to strangling his girlfriend in the bathroom of the rented house. The assailant also confessed that they had argued, and after committing the murder, he took the body of his girlfriend and hung it on the bedroom door. And then, quite unbelievably, he slept in the same room as the dead body. But then, early next morning, he fled. So, did you spot the suspect's error? Yes, that's right. He locked the front door of the house on leaving. and it was only he that had the other key. And that one act could well seal his conviction. Now here's another odd one for you. A top official has denied accepting $100,000 and wine as a bribe. A lieutenant general is facing these bribery allegations. He was once the vice president of the now suspended Cambodian Anti-Counterfeiting Office, and he is suspected of taking huge bribes to allow people to trade illegally in items that are banned and prohibited. A spokesman of the Ministry of Interior has confirmed that he had received a complaint from the lawyer of a company alleging the official took $100,000 and 48 bottles of red wine from them when he conducted an inspection of the Shivtmex company. Now, here is the thing. The officer found that the company was importing fake products, potentially including wine. He took the huge bribe, $100,000, and he helped himself to some vino as well. And then the company had paid him. But all of a sudden, this same company that paid the bribe have reported the suspect officer for bribery. Now that makes no sense. They paid the bribe, then they got their lawyer to report it. That not only is the company reporting that they are holding fake products, but it is also that they are involved in paying bribes. Well, if you think that's mad, it gets a bit nuttier, as they also said they now want their bribe money back. Well, there can only really be one reason for this rather bizarre behaviour, for my guess is the officer kept on returning for more and more money. And in the end, the company had no choice but to report him. But asking for your bribe money back? Is that not a little ridiculous? As not only are you importing illegal goods, but are involved in the criminal act of bribing an officer of the law. So maybe they all do need to be held to account. Now this one is rather horrifying. Here we go. A man has been arrested after savagely attacking his grandmother, all because she would not lend him $3.75. Now, don't think he just pushed her over or maybe slapped her in the face. Nope, this guy went and got a kitchen knife and stabbed his 95-year-old grandmother. And it was not a small puncture wound in the stomach or maybe in the arm. He plunged the kitchen knife in the old lady's neck. All because she refused to give him 15,000 real. The brutal attack took place at 3 p.m. in Kampong Speu province. Police say that the assailant was drunk when he attacked his 95-year-old grandmother. She survived, and that is a miracle. As a lady so frail being stabbed in the throat, I would have thought she would have died on the spot, but she's a tough old bird, and she survived. Police confirmed that after the interrogation, the suspect confessed that he had committed the crime, and now authorities will be taking legal action. In another stabbing, one that makes a bit more sense, if stabbing can make sense, a homeowner was arrested after stabbing a burglar to death in Phnom Penh. And this stabbing, unlike the last one, is a little more understandable, for it was 3 o'clock in the morning when a man who was fast asleep was woken by strange noises in his house. Those noises that woke him caused him to be very fearful. He went to investigate, and he discovered that a burglar had broken in. He then armed himself with a kitchen knife and a fight ensued, and he killed the intruder with that very knife. He had stabbed him multiple times in a frenzy of fear, and his attack was so forceful the burglar died instantly. The homeowner was sent to Phnom Penh Municipal Court, but has now been released, as it was deemed he was defending himself, and as such had not broken any law. We've had a woman murdered and left hanging in a bedroom. We've had multiple stabbings and vast corruption. But we end this bumper crime desk with some good news. Now, do you recall last week I told you of a man who went the wrong way round a roundabout, and he killed another man on a motto? The car driver then, of course, promptly drove off, offering no assistance to the injured man, as obviously he was only concerned about himself, not the fact that he had left a man dying on the tarmac. Well, now that man has been arrested. Hurrah! The incident took place at the roundabout of Co-Pitch Park, and a male aged 59 was killed when his motto was hit by a driver going the wrong way round the roundabout in his car. As I say, the driver then fled the scene, leaving Mr. Chan to die on the road, when he could so easily have been saved. In his confession, the car driver confessed to have been drinking until 4 a.m. that day, and he was drunk when he hit the man. Now, the only reason he was caught was this incident was captured on CCTV, and for once, one of these reckless hit-and-run drivers that are the scourge of the roads was brought to account. And now he will have to face a judge, and I, for one, hope he is made of a very severe example. Vietnam has issued a warning in the past week about the bird flu risk after an outbreak within the kingdom. The warning was prompted by the recent announcement by the Cambodian Health Department of yet another 2 cases of H5N1 avian influenza being detected. And it is this that has the Vietnamese Ministry of Health very concerned. And they should be, as unlike our previous story on monkeypox, bird flu is deadly. And I mean really, really deadly.
Previously, the Ministry of Health spokeswoman Or Van Dien called on the public to be extra vigilant about H5N1 bird flu. The poultry-transmitted disease has a higher mortality rate than monkeypox, than COVID-19. And I'm not saying just a little bit, but by a huge percentage. She said, the mortality rate of those who contract H5N1 is as high as 50 to 60%. And that is really, really frightening. Just think of any disease that kills up to 60% of the people it infects, and you are in the realms of a biblical plague. According to the Cambodian Ministry of Health, 2 more new cases of human infections of H5N1 have been recorded in Kampot province, bringing the total number of human infections to 6. Of those cases, 3 deaths have been confirmed, which very much bears out the death rate quoted earlier. The Vietnamese Health Ministry has sent teams to outbreak hotspots in a bid to strengthen the prevention and control of the avian influenza. Local authorities have been asked to monitor people entering the country very closely, and all those that deal with poultry. So far, the cases we have reported on here at the Khmer Times follow a very predictable pattern. And that is, poultry get sick and then die en masse. and people are choosing to ignore these clear warnings that something is not quite right with these birds. But they then not only sell these dead birds, they even consume them amongst themselves. And that, of course, is a major problem. The virus, instead of being killed off, is being allowed to spread, as some of those birds that are sick are even being traded. So the killer flu just spreads, bringing even more misery to more rural communities.
It's time to have a look ahead and see what the weather has in store for us next week.
Okay, so here is your weather, and this week I'm actually going to have the image on the screen rather than flicking about looking for it. And what it shows me is very clear. 29 degrees C, precipitation at 0%, which I completely don't understand, because just look at Sunday and Saturday. Oh well, c'est la vie. Right, humidity 70%, that is on the rise, and the wind is still a gentle 5 kilometers an hour, barely moving the leaves in the trees. Across the board, basically, what you're going to get is sunshine and a bit cloudy, and that is absolutely lovely weather.
This has been the Khmer Times News. Please do subscribe and comment and stay up to date with all the breaking news by following us on both Facebook and Telegram. This has been Paolo Bonini, and that was the week that was. I'll see you next weekend for your weekly Roundup.